We're so glad you're with us today. I wish you could be here to feel this energy because it's like, yeah. And for those of you who are wondering why it's such a big deal is because, well, first of all, it's been a while since we've had people in the building. And secondly, it's our 15th anniversary today. So we have lots to celebrate, and so glad to have you all here with us, both online and in person. And I haven't met you yet. I'm Kitty Benson. I'm the minister here at Unity. And way back 15 years ago, it was just me, all Kitty, all the time. Kitty sang, Kitty did the announcements, Kitty did the message and the meditation. But what is so cool is that not very long after that, we had fabulous band members start to come in. So let's give some love to High's Good. And we're going to be taking a look over the next few weeks at why we're here, how we got here, what we hope you're receiving from our ministry here at Unity in Naperville, how spiritual community continues to grow, and how we can be a community for each other, all leading us back into that center and source that is seeking to express such joy in our lives, creativity and power and peace. So thanks for making time for this today. I'm hoping that when you're done with it, you'll feel like a little bit up out of your body, and that's okay. So one of the things we love to do here at Unity is sing with our great band. So if you'll stand as you're able, stay seated if it feels better. Let's sing. What are we singing?
Holy is the Lord.
Yeah, some of these songs. You tell us a little about these songs, okay?
Good morning, everyone! We're going to go way back for some of these songs. How's that sound to you? This one we sang, I probably heard it the first Sunday I walked in.
I think you're right, yes.
Might have been you on guitar, Kevin, just singing a song. Right? Please join us.
We stand and lift up our hands, for the joy of the Lord is our strength. We give thanks and worship Him now. How great, how awesome is He, and together we sing. Holy is the Lord, God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. Holy is the Lord, God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory. And together we sing. Everyone sing. Holy is the Lord, God Almighty. Yes. The earth is filled with His glory. Holy is the Lord, God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory. And it's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. It's rising up all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. It's rising up, and it's all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. It's rising up, and it's all around. It's the anthem of the Lord's renown. Holy is the Lord, God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. Holy is the Lord, God Almighty. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory. The earth is filled with His glory.
gonna give her a clap, can I? I'm gonna give her a clap. Okay. And I do believe that was one of the songs of the first day that I walked in. And I remember walking into Gregory Middle School.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
Chairs all out, and Kevin might have, I don't even know if you were there. I think you were. This might have been one of the first songs. And I walked in, everyone started singing, all 12 people there.
Yeah.
Maybe 6, Margot says. But I just started weeping. I just started weeping because I knew I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably not the only one who feels that way, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Here's one of those oldies again, Kevin.
Lord of all creation, of water, earth, and sky. The heavens are your tabernacle. Glory to the Lord on high. And God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy. Lord of heaven and earth.
Lord of heaven and earth.
Lord of heaven and earth.
Lord of heaven and earth. Oh, yes. Early in the morning.
Early in the morning, I will celebrate the light. And when I stumble into darkness, I will call your name by night. A God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy. Lord of heaven and earth.
Lord of heaven and earth.
Lord of heaven and earth.
Lord of heaven and earth. Hallelujah to the Lord of heaven and earth. Hallelujah to the Lord of heaven and earth. Hallelujah to the Lord of heaven and earth. God of wonders.
A God of wonders beyond our galaxy. You are holy, holy. The universe declares your majesty. You are holy, holy. Lord of heaven and earth.
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 Oh, joyful. How about if we just take our outer experience and turn it inward, find that heart space. We make that connection with the divine presence, grateful to be in this experience together, always one with that light, even in the darkness. We trust that light. We allow that light to shine through us. We lean into it and give thanks that all that we need in this moment is fully present. this God of wonders, is expressing in wondrous ways as me, as you. How beautiful. So it is, and now we let it be. Amen. Will you help me speak our invocation? The words are up here on the screen. I've been saying that for 15 years. Here we go. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated.
And actually, you have not been saying that for 15 years because when we started, there was no PowerPoint. Is that right?
Oh,
Remember
right.
back then? I think you might have been printing something. You read it out. Yeah. So the PowerPoint was something that came in the first year, I believe. And I remember, as you could tell from the first couple of songs, we kind of just picked out, bless the kids. Bless.
Okay. So one of the things that we didn't have on our first day was children. And it took us a few months to open up a child care room, and suddenly we had children. And then COVID came, and all our children went away. So we're still waiting for our children to come back. We're bringing in a new child caregiver and excited. So we're actually going to call forth the children with this blessing, okay? Because we know they're out there, and we're looking forward to blessing them with a deeper understanding of their beautiful light self. So let's send that light out to them and feel that deeper connection this morning. And the blessing is up here on the screen. Together, children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we see the light of God shining in you. Thank you. Blessings, blessings. Okay, tell your story.
I was telling a story. What was I saying? Okay, I remember that. So, we would, right at the beginning, we were doing songs that were being played at other places, contemporary Christian songs like we just did. We didn't really know any New Thought songs back then. And so I remember the first time we got together, it was Kevin, Kitty, and myself. We said, well, let's write a song together, by golly. And Kevin had these really cool chords. Play your cool chords, Kevin.
Yeah, sure. It's a...
Yeah. He had these beautiful chords. And we got together one afternoon, the three of us, and we added some words to those beautiful chords, came up with a melody with this song, one of our first songs together.
That's right.
It's called
it was
Deeper.
Our first co-write.
Yay!
And I was going to call it, Kitty, Kimchar, Kevin. I was going to call it the KKK song. And then, no. Bad idea.
I remember that. It was voted down rather quickly.
Yeah.
Down.
All right. Yeah. Into the peace of heaven, full of your holy light, where every joy is waiting, and all I need is mine. Into the peace of heaven, full of your holy light, where every joy is waiting.
Love that song. Thanks, you guys. I am much younger than I look. So don't try and do the math when I tell you that in 1986, I moved to San Francisco and went to work for an NBC radio. And I was hired by a man that was going to be my direct boss, and he turned out to be just a wonderful man. And he was there for about 4 weeks before he left. I was so disappointed. But I learned later that he had health issues. And, people at the station loved him. And so people continued to talk about him, and it turned out that his health issue was that he had AIDS. And this was kind of right at the beginning, when AIDS was first coming onto the scene. And I began to learn bits and pieces of it. But what I saw mostly during this time, especially in San Francisco, is there's a lot of mistrust, a lot of judgment, a lot of fear around it. And right about the same time, Broadway came out with a musical called Rent. Remember that? The way they described it was that it was a rock opera that tells the story of the late 80s. It focused on the life of a group of bohemians that were living in the East Village of New York. And it was about their struggle with life and with love and with AIDS, and how it impacted their lives and how it ultimately impacted the rest of America and the world. And I wanted to share one of the songs from it this morning. It's almost a chant. It becomes very repetitious, but I want you to go into the words a little bit more deeply than just the literal words themselves, and see if you can feel what is being communicated here. Can we watch this?
Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare? Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare? Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare? Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare? Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare? Will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare?
We've come a ways in being able to manage HIV. It's not as much of a death sentence as it used to be early on. But I'm not sure we've come a long ways in releasing judgment or fear around it. And though most of us here won't face a life-threatening disease like AIDS in our life, we probably can relate. As you listen to that music, we probably can relate to those questions that are being chanted in our own heart. Maybe it's not a physical illness, but it could be some type of fear about not being enough, not having enough, not being loved, and wondering where it will all lead. Can you relate to that a little bit? It's, a chant in our own ego when it says, will I lose my dignity? It's, maybe we're asking, will I lose my honor because of what I've done or not done? Or will I lose people's respect? Will I fail at going through this change and no one will care about me any longer? If I fail at this new thing that I'm trying to do, what will people think of me? Maybe our ego is chanting, will someone care when we find ourselves all alone? Will someone feel my pain? Will someone notice that I'm drowning here? Will someone be able to lift me up, or will I just reach out and there won't be anyone there? Will I be rejected if I ask for help? Will I end up alone? And some of us probably have had the experience of chanting on our insides, will I wake tomorrow from this nightmare that I've created in my life? Will I ever get around it? Will I ever rise above it? Will it always be in control of my life? I think at some point in our lives, everybody can relate to that. And there's a lot of silent suffering going on around us in the world. There might be some of you in this room that are feeling this way today, or those of you watching online that are relating to those feelings. And this is one of the reasons why Unity in Naperville came into being. This is why I came into ministry, is because as we describe unity as practical Christianity, what we share here is less about getting to heaven and more about experiencing transformation here and now. It's less about enduring pain until we die or living with the lack until we die, and it's more about bringing the kingdom of heaven to earth now. And I know when we're suffering, it's almost impossible to be able to picture that we can do that. But as we honor our 15th anniversary here this month, I'm going to invite you to take a look at this path that we're on together. We call it a spiritual path for conscious living. And it actually initially created this vision in my own heart of what our work might be here in Unity. And I had a friend who lived way out of town do a graphic for me years ago, but Kim Chara's kind of spiced it up a little bit. So let's take a look at this vision here on the screen. First and foremost, I'd love for you to see a sun at the center of all of this. Think of this as our path that we're walking here together. And that sun in the center is not only that which we go outside and look up into the sky and see, depending on the time of day, but it's acknowledging that sun is also within us as a spiritual sun. And when we think of the sun outside, we think of it as a big round ball. So I want you to start with recognizing the circle shape of the sun as a symbol for the expression of God as a circle. For centuries, they've been saying about God that God is a circle whose center is everywhere, whose circumference cannot be found. It's nowhere because it just keeps spreading out. The center of that circle is within you. And just as we revolve around the sun, our beingness revolves and is sourced out of the inner sun of God, the inner light. It's a light that not only is the light of our life energy, our substance that we form things with, and just energy itself, but it's also a light that inspires us in consciousness, that becomes our wisdom and inspiration. So that light is always with us. And if you came here hurting, looking for some kind of answer, I want you to begin with that idea that you're never separate from that light. The sun is always shining. It's possible that when you came in here, you were in crisis, or looking for something to lift you up, and you had that little chant going on, will I lose my dignity? Will someone care? Will I wake up from this nightmare? At the same time, I want you to know that the voice of the Son is chanting within you that you are worthy, that you are loved, that there is light in the darkness, that presence of the Son is always shining, no matter what the weather, no matter what time of day. We keep that in mind, that the light of God is present in us. And Unity's message is born out of that Son, that we are all part of it, that it is seeking to express as us, that it is fullness of good, and that it's available to us. But what I also know is someone can't really hear that message on their first try when they've come in a door that they bring a lot of pain with. And so we would say up here that there's sunbeams shooting off of this sun, and the one up at the top there, in case you can't read it, says healing. That's probably one of the first things that we come here to do, is to heal. And it's not healing on our own. It's actually an expression of divine light that's helping us to heal. So when we talk about healing and unity, I think about Jesus's message when he was explaining what his ministry was. This is from the book of Luke up here on the screen. He said, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he's anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He sent me to proclaim release to the captives and recovery of sight to the blind, to let the oppressed go free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor." And then he sent people out and said, share this with others. Share with them the good news. And the good news, we go back to the book of Mark. First thing that when Jesus came on the scene, what did he say? He said, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. That's the good news. The kingdom of heaven is here now. And so when we talk about a healing message, we're talking about understanding everything that Jesus came here to reveal. He did it in a more of a literal way, but as we talk about in unity, when we look at the scriptures, we can also look at them metaphysically, which means how is what he's saying applying to me in my own consciousness? And acknowledge that when he said anything about people, the poor or people being set free, captives, the blind, he's talking about our thoughts. Think of it that way, that our thoughts need to be set free, that those old negative beliefs about who we are need to be set free. And that Son within us, the Spirit of the Lord upon us, within us, is seeking to shine a way out of that bondage. So it's hard to just step into your freedom just because you're hearing me say you're free. It requires a bit of an awakening process, a bit of healing process. And the way that happens is by changing your mind about who you are, and it doesn't happen overnight. How many know that? How many of you have started a new diet and it worked because you were excited for a week, but then you went back to your old habits, right? Yeah, same way when we're trying to own our true identity, is that we've heard the old identity for so long, limited, unworthy, that it's hard to realize there's a higher part of ourself here too. And something that Connie Fillmore, who was actually the granddaughter of our founders, Charles and Myrtle, said that true healing is threefold. It's spiritual and mental and physical. A person cannot be truly whole if one of these parts is ailing, as all are inextricably linked. The way to healing is first to re-educate the mind and to establish the presence of truth in all the faculties. So when we create this space for healing here, it's about creating an environment for you to hear over and over and over again that you are not the things you've done or the things that you haven't done. You're not the things that you have or the things that you don't have. You're not your education. You're not your beauty or your body. You're not the status that you hold. You are a being of light, and we need to remember that good news, that the infinite potential of the circle, really that's another symbol for the circle of light, is unlimited, infinite potential. And so if we took Jesus' words and we reframed them in such a way that we're retraining our mind, that we're announcing to our mind, our subconscious level that drives everything that we do, we're announcing to the subconscious who we really are based on his life, it might look like this little call and response that I put together here. So I'm going to call, I'll be the leader, and I'm going to ask you to speak out with me as the response. I bring good news to my body, mind, and emotions. The Spirit of God is within me. I proclaim release from captivity. I'm no longer held back by circumstances. I release all thoughts of oppression. With God, all things are possible. I recover my inner sight. I judge not by appearance. I'm the light of God expressing. I proclaim and own the Lord's favor. God's infinite good is mine. Together, my soul flows with new life, and my body, mind, and spirit are set free to be my truest me. That's a little bit about how the healing process works. We have to keep reminding ourselves of the truth over and over again. Because if we try and stand in the fullness of God, still holding on to those beliefs that I'm only human, that I'm of a certain age, that I didn't get the education, that I don't have the money, we're going to have a hard time expressing the fullness of God. So we renew the mind. It's a step in the process of walking that spiritual path of conscious living. It's only the first step, though. I hope I get what I'm about to say right next, but I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong about this. But I think there was a movie called The Princess Diaries. Okay, yeah? All right, somebody's a fan over here in this section. And what I remember is that this young girl in her teen years discovered that the father that she never knew was actually royalty. Am I doing good okay? Is that it? All right. So she's discovering that her father is royalty, and oh, by the way, so are you. And the next thing that needed to happen was she couldn't just become a princess just because she knew she was of royal blood. That's not the way it worked. Once she knew she was of royal blood, she had to actually move to the kingdom. Am I getting this right? And she had to learn about what it means to be part of the kingdom, to lead a kingdom. And it's such a beautiful metaphor for our own journey that at some point, hopefully you're here and healing and waking up to the idea that you're a divine expression of God. But you don't just get there by knowing that one time. You actually go through another expression of sun or light. Up here on the sunshine circle here says learning. That is part of the process of revealing our divine potential. That we have to stay on a learning path. It's an opportunity for us to really go deep and understand that which is almost not understandable, which is God, but get a better idea of what the nature of God is. And then get a better idea of what your nature is and understanding how you work with this universe that you live in and also integrate with the spiritual dimension that's all around us. It's understanding how I express in this experience of God. That's a learning process. I've been on it all of my life, and my learning has just shifted and shifted and shifted over time. Our soul is meant to flow. And to me, what that means is you're continually spiraling. And every time you spiral around, you might touch on the same subject again, but you're at a little bit higher understanding of it now. And so when I talk about learning, I'm talking about going with the flow, opening yourself up to the things of life around you. And more than that, what's deep within you that's trying to come forth in you, to be open to a new and spiritual perspective instead of just a human perspective. Jesus came in and offered the secrets of the kingdom. Over and over and over again, he tried to offer these secrets that he said were all around us, that we could be experiencing. But he also would say, but this is only for those who have ears to hear. Ask yourself, do I have ears to hear that I am an expression of the kingdom of God? You know, my experience around this, that I can track back pretty much throughout my life, is my experience with learning about the Bible. And, you know, those who might have come to Unity for the first time may be surprised that you don't see us all carrying Bibles with us when we come here. And if you were to interview all the people in Unity, you would probably find a very mixed bag about what people think about the Bible. And it might be because they've had experiences with it, or it might be that they just don't understand it. And it doesn't, in their mind, it doesn't have to really be part of their spiritual path. And that's okay. We make that okay here at Unity. I'll tell you about my little path with the Bible, and why you hear me talking about the Bible here on Sundays is because I started in a pretty mainstream Christian church that they gave Bibles to third graders, when they were old enough to really read the big words like Habakkuk and, Nebuchadnezzar. And even before that, before the third grade, I remember being in a Sunday school room where they'd have a children's Bible with lots of pictures and very few words, but they'd still tell the stories from the Bible. And then at one point when I was in, I think maybe around the fourth grade, our minister, this is a big deal because he was a big guy that stood way up, much higher than me, way up on a pulpit somewhere. And, when we did get to see him speak, he was just like God. So when he came into our classroom, I was like, whoa, this is big. And he said, I'm here to share a little Bible story with you today. And he read to us from the Bible about the parting of the Red Sea. And by then, I hope, the Ten Commandments had already been on TV. Can't remember. But I knew about the Red Sea. I was excited to hear him tell the story. And he told the story. It's, where Moses parts the Red Sea and the Israelites escape from the Egyptians, get to the other side. The water comes crashing down, wipes out all of Pharaoh's army. It was so cool. We were like, yeah, you go, God. And then he said, now, this isn't really a true story. And I went, what? If I had been older, I would have had that man fired. You know what? My ears shut. I no longer had ears to hear anything he said after that. I totally disagreed with him. I believed that Bible word for word. And I continued to have an affair with that Bible up into my teen years. I had writings all over it. I got me the Living Bible. Remember that one? Yeah. It was just paraphrased ad infinitum, and it was probably not even close to the Bible originally. But anyway, I moved into a more fundamentalist church, which took the Bible literally, and we read it, and we read it, and we read it for many hours a Sunday. And it served me to a point where those teaching it started to use the language in such a way that it felt harmful, that the language was judging and hurtful and fear-based. And suddenly that Bible didn't sound like what I thought it represented to me. So my ears shut again, and I ended up leaving that church and really stepped away from church and the Bible for years and years after that, until I came into Unity one Sunday. And ultimately, as I spent some time there, I discovered this metaphysical way of interpreting the Bible, and I discovered there's a whole bunch of stories in here that I've never even heard before, even though I knew it backwards and forwards, because I was seeing it as aspects of myself. The stories, the people, the places, what was happening were aspects of my own consciousness. And it started to have a whole new meaning for me. I feel like I got my Bible back. So my ears were open, and I was looking at it in a new way, and then I went to seminary. And I wanted to throw that Bible out the window. I started taking Bible history classes. And I discovered that Mark did not write the book of Mark, and Matthew did not write the book of Matthew. And I thought, this is ridiculous. One of my classmates went home on a break after we'd been studying Bible history, and he said, Mom, you're not going to believe what I'm learning about the Bible. And she said, don't tell me. I don't want to know. She did not have ears to hear. And that's okay. We are each in our own growth process, our own learning process, in our own pace, our own time. And it may be for you, it may not be for you. But what I discovered throughout my life so far about this Bible is that what works best for me is, and I was just in a webinar this week about how to deliver a good Sunday message. They actually came in with a stack, kid you not, a stack of Bible commentaries to read, so that I could find out how other people interpreted the Bible. And it's very common to go through that in seminary, but I just realized that what works best for me right now is to learn about the Bible from the inside out. to read it and listen to what my higher self, the Christ within, has for me in those stories. So that's, something that I've chosen to do. It's something that we all can do, but the thing that's most important for me to say today is that the learning process is best done from the inside out instead of taking knowledge in or other people's interpretations of knowledge. And something that the sage knew in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, was, happy are those who find wisdom and those who get understanding, for her income is better than silver and her revenue better than gold. Her ways are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Whatever else you get understanding. Sounds like a good Jewish mother. Whatever else you get understanding. So I can stand here and teach you all about Unity's principles. I think I'm okay at doing that. But what's more important to me is that you learn from the inside out. You do your own interpretation. I can teach you about the 5 basic principles. They're important here in Unity. But what's more important is that while you're here, you learn how to learn. That's one of the things that Charles Fillmore said about what Unity is. We're not going to teach you what to think. We're going to teach you how to think. Does that make sense? And that learning how to learn comes from learning how to listen to our higher self, how to understand what the voice of God is saying to us. And that's why some people will come here to Unity and it will feel like home, as Kim Char mentioned, and they stay. And then there's others who come to Unity and they don't stay very long because it's not resonating with them. And that's okay, because we're all walking our own path. We're all souls that are meant to flow and grow in the process, but we're just doing it on different paths, and all of that is okay. So if you found your way to Unity 15 years ago or today, just know that we'll just keep telling you that this is an opportunity for you to learn and grow, but listen most clearly to what your own heart says. A way that this is described from Marion Brown up here on the screen is that if we're to attain Christ consciousness, which is basically aligning our thoughts with God, growth never stops. We go from one level of consciousness to another. If a plant stops growing, it starts to die. And so it is with us. If we feel there's nothing else for us to learn, no new worlds to conquer, we begin to die. So as long as you join us in Unity, we'll be pointing you to our mission statement. Let's read this together up here on the screen. We are a vibrant, inclusive community for personal growing and joyful knowing of our oneness with Spirit and each other. You see it? It's built in. Personal growing about your oneness with Spirit and each other. So again, lots to learn, lots to sift through in your own heart. Most important learning is to learn how to listen, have ears to hear to what your higher self is guiding you to. We can't make that voice sound like Charlton Heston. It's not going to happen that way. But we can create an environment in our consciousness that is open and receptive to what Spirit has for us. You might think that you have to force the learning process by doing a lot of reading or coming here on Sundays, but the best learning process is getting still, being alone in a room, and making an environment for your higher self to speak. And that happens when you are able to bring up a feeling of love or gratitude or joy. And as your energy starts to rise, you're aligned with the consciousness of God and you're able to hear what Spirit has to say. It'll just feel right. If Unity feels right to you, then you're connected to your higher self. If it feels like, not my bag, then you're connected to your higher self and you will find something. Keep looking until you find something that feels right to you. Because each one of our souls is growing, but we've all got our own life to live. We've all got our own ways to express that divine potential. And it can come from many support systems. We're just one of them. So we're on this path that we're walking here together, and I just wanted to cover healing and learning today. We'll have more over the next couple of weeks. But when I emphasize anything, I'm going to emphasize for you this week the listening, the learning how to listen. Let me share 2 quotes before we get into meditation. One from Ellen Davenport, who actually wrote the 5 principles and says the most effective prayer may be wordless, a time of silence to align ourselves with all that is and return to the wholeness that is our true nature. That's the listening that we're seeking to do, to understand that. And Barbara Taylor Brown was a minister who left church and said some of the most effective language in the world leads you up to the brink of silence and leaves you there with the soft surf of the unsayable lapping at your feet. Nice. Let's do that over here. I'll come over here. You stay where you are. This is a chance for us to take ourselves to the brink of silence. Be open and receptive to what our higher self wants us to know. So let's begin by just closing our eyes so that we're no longer distracted by what's around us. Take a deep breath. As you breathe again, imagine that it is that sun, that light, that life breathing through you. Imagine that ball of light at the center of your heart. And see that light as the life of God. Feel that light expand throughout your body. Feel yourself expand beyond your body, as if you were water spreading beyond the boundaries. I am light. The light that shines in the darkness. I am that light. And I allow that light to press out beyond any negative boundaries I have set. I feel myself expanding beyond limitation and filled with new life. I let go of any limited thought about supply, knowing that that light of God is my supply. Its divine energy fulfills every need. I see that supply filling heaven and earth beyond our galaxy. It is holy and unlimited. I know that light at the center of my heart as love. A love that sees only good. And I allow that love to expand beyond my heart, beyond my body. It is a love that heals and transforms. That lifts up, that attracts our good. I am loved by an infinite universe. And I allow that loving light to shine through me and as me as I lift the world around me with healing love. I give thanks for the light that I am. And as I turn my thoughts towards the day ahead, I allow that light to shine brightly through me. I am one with the light of the world. This is the truth of my being. Now I let it be. Amen. I'm looking forward to walking this spiral path with you, especially for a couple crowds. The crowd that was here early on, the crowd that's just finding us. It's exciting. It's an exciting story to tell, and I'm grateful that you're here to hear it and be part of it. And at this time in our service, we invite you to become the good that you have already received in your life and be an expression of that good. As you share your tithes and your love offerings, only share today if what you're giving to is something that lifts you up, that you'd like to see sustained, that you'd like to become a strong message in the world. And as you give toward that, allow your gratitude for all the good in your life to be the energy that you give from. We bless our gifts with the words up here on the screen. Let's say our blessing together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. If you're watching online, whether it's Sunday or any day, we're grateful for your gifts as well. You're as much a part of our congregation as those sitting here in this room, and we thank you for supporting it. You can do it with the donate button on our Facebook page or our website, unityinnaperville.org, or mail a check to our P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. God bless. Thank you. Ushers, will you come, please?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am
am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
I didn't check to see if you can see me with the lights over here, Parker. Can we turn the overhead lights on then? That'd be great. Hey, now you can see. That's great. Yeah. I'm gonna invite my friend Pat Price to join me for a minute. Who has a microphone? Thank you, dear. Okay, Pat, you want to stand with me? Okay, you want to just sit?
Yeah.
All right. So this is my friend Pat. Why don't you hold on to that so we can? I'll hold it for you. How's that? Okay, good. So my friend Pat was with me on the very first Sunday service. I'm gonna cry. She was with me on the very first Sunday service. And I just asked her and a couple others to be with me today to just share a memory or two of what her experience was like 15 years ago today. So Pat, what do you remember?
I remember we were so excited, and then nobody showed up. This is us.
Do you remember how many were there the first Sunday?
I think like six.
6 people, yeah.
Something.
And they were the team that actually put the service together. Yeah. So that was fun.
And yes, I kept thinking every week more people would
Yeah,
come,
yeah.
and we finally did get more people to come.
Finally did get some people.
Yeah, it seems like we're going backwards now.
Thanks to COVID, yeah. But we're going to hold the high watch, right?
And
Yeah.
You mentioned the kids. It was always nice to have the young kids be
Yeah.
out here. And
Yeah.
with COVID, why we don't.
Yeah.
So
They'll be
I'm
back.
very thankful to be here.
Do you remember what you used to do, what your job was on a Sunday morning?
Stand at the table and freeze when the door would open. Remember Jessie?
Yes.
Jessie moved at one speed. Jessie's.
Jesse Speed, I remember
If
that.
and she'd stand there and talk to somebody at the door.
Yeah. So the
And
door
I've-
would be open for quite a while.
And
Yeah.
I
what,
was-
what were you doing at the table? What were you handing out?
I had the library.
You had the library.
Library,
Oh,
yeah,
that was
the
that was a
books.
job. Yeah. Okay, so just put this in perspective. Everything that you see in a church right now was in a van. And every
Yes.
Sunday we'd
Yeah.
drive it to the school and we'd unload the van, including a library every Sunday.
Yep.
And Pat's
Every-
job was to
We left nothing behind.
we left nothing behind. That's true. Okay, just one other thing I wanted you to share your story about your husband and what he thought. When you first went home and told him how many people we had, what did he say?
I told him, well, this is after a couple of weeks, and I went home one week, and he said, how many? And I said, 6. And he said, well, I'll go with you. I can be a body.
And that's how we grew, one body at a time. Thank you, Pat. Give her some love. Come see Margot. Come up here. We'll put the other two up here on the hot spot where you can see them. Margot and Kathy, come on up here. Somebody brought something. Let me let you hold this.
Okay.
So, hold those for a second. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, Margot and Kathy were also one of our first members at Unity. So, what do you remember, Margot?
I remember that I was on my last month of finishing my bachelor's degree at 60 years old, right down to the line. And a friend of mine, my really dear friend, whom I'd been joining at the Unity in Chicago.
Wonderful.
When I could get the hour's drive down there. And she called me and said, Margot, there's a Unity in Naperville. Oh my God. Well, here I was with this horrible dilemma because all I wanted to do was come to church, and the paper was also due. So I made a deal with myself that it would be a big treat to go to Unity with the paper already done. So I sacrificed the first 2 weeks I could have gone, finished my paper, and happily came to church
And
for the first
yes.
time in about the
And
first month maybe of your services. There were still only 6 people.
We like to start things easy.
It was early.
Yeah.
It was only a few weeks. in. It
Yeah,
wasn't a
yeah.
long
And,
time.
and did you have any kind of role in the early stages? I know that you brought a lot of people with you. I remember that.
This one here, this lovely lady, was doing the hospitality table at the time. And after a few, month, a year, whatever. About a year. Then
Yeah.
Kathy did something else and
Gave it up and moved on.
Yeah.
So, Kathy, what do you remember?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, first off, when you called me the other day, I recounted to her, Kitty, which she had forgotten, is that the same thing. I would search the internet every weekend looking for Unity, and finally one day there it appeared, Unity in Naperville, and I called Kitty, and I said, "This is Kathy Ryder." And she's like, and she just went off on, I'm like, I think you had me confused with somebody else. And she's like, oh, there's another Kathy Ryder. I'm like, no, there is no other Kathy Ryder. This is it. So that is my first encounter with Kitty. And she didn't even remember the story till I told her. But it has been a journey. I mean, we were church in a box.
Yeah.
Before the van ever came along, everybody that had a role, like hospitality, the child care room, the teachers, everybody would have huge tubs in their car.
Yeah.
And every week we would pull up like a procession, and we would unload our boxes, and we would set up, and then we would pack them all up, and we'd put them in our car and take them home again. And that's how we started. And there's so many things that you said and touched on today that just were in my thoughts.
Oh.
When we were on the board, the first board, we were sequestered at a convent to create what we saw today as our mission statement. And it took us 2 days to come up with that.
Yeah.
We had so many great memories. I remember one of the first Unity picnics. Lee and Kathy Feehan had a green space behind their house, and we had tents, and we had this massive inflatable slide for the children and adults, if you were so adventurous. What were the other things? A couple other things I really wanted to touch on. See, you lost me here. Our first Christmas Eve service in an airport hangar. It was the most amazing Christmas Eve ever. It was pouring rain.
Yes.
And I brought a few friends with me. And to this day, I will never forget, one of my friends said to me, if you can find God in an airport hangar, you can find God anywhere. I mean, there's so many memories. Where's another one? Let's see. Oh, the angel tree. The angel tree was started by Shannon Janicki, and it lives to this day. We've done so many programs, so many events. The first event we had was the film Dalai Lama.
That's
Remember
right.
that?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, we sent out little cards to everybody in the community, and we had maybe 30?
75.
Did we have that?
Oh, I
many?
remember that number.
Okay.
That was like the biggest
Okay.
number we'd had so far.
Yeah, it was a one-time event, though.
Yes.
We just had so many events that we created. Marge and Tom Schneider would host the Christmas parties every year in their
Yes.
home.
Yes.
Singing with Kevin, Kim Char. We'd all do Christmas carols around their fireplace.
Yes.
Everybody contributed.
And Kathy was the one who was good enough to do the coffee. That was when we had our planning meeting, I said, do we need coffee? Yes, everyone said. We must have coffee. And so we've had it ever since. But thank you, Kathy, for setting that up for the first year from the van. That
And the
was a
funny
big
thing
deal.
is, I never drink coffee, okay? But I do bake.
Thank you. And they
And-
did a fabulous job with all the goodies that came in every week, and you still do. Thank you for that. But I just wanted you to hear some of the early stories in case you missed it, so you feel like you were there 15 years ago. Would you please give Margot and Kathy some love?
Okay, so these are for you because as much as we're celebrating unity, we're celebrating you because without you, we wouldn't be here.
Thank you, everyone. What a blessing. Thanks, girls. Couldn't do this without you. Seriously, could not do it without you. Thank you, Carol. You want a microphone? Why don't you give her, would you hand this back to her? Thank you. Make sure it's on. Sorry, I thought that was it.
No, your light is such a blessing to us, and we so honor you. I asked my friends, Liz and Beth, to just make a little presentation for you today.
Oh, yay.
Because we love you. Thanks, Carol.
Oh my gosh! It is. Only better.
Hi. So I'm Beth Schwartz and Liz Allroth. We are past presidents of the Board of Trustees.
Yay.
So on behalf of the entire congregation, we wanted to show our gratitude for all the years that you've put in your time, your talents, your caring, your compassion to make Unity the centering, wonderful place that it is. And we wanted to give you some beauty back
Yay, thank you.
in the form of flowers.
Yay! I'm the flower girl.
And also beauty in the form of something Liz put together.
Thanks, Beth. Okay. It's kind of an honor to all my courageous writer peeps.
Oh, cool.
And that Beth and I were talking, and I said, well, I don't know, we could do this or that or a poem. Kitty would love a poem, Beth said. And I said, all right, I'll see what I can do. So here we go. Follow your heart. You followed the signs. You followed your heart. You asked for more signs, and it was all by design. The signs kept coming, and unity in Naperville rose out of nothing. You didn't wait for perfection, but just kept heading in one direction. Slowly, people found a way of life quite profound here. Quieting minds through meditation makes it all clear. One power, one presence. You encouraged us to believe that nothing is against us. You followed the signs, you followed your heart. Unity in Naperville was amazing from the start. It's been many years, and so many of us have found our tribe. We are often stunned by your messages we imbibe. The lessons are transformational for those willing to see that the need to be right is just the ego in the lead. You followed the signs, you followed your heart. You've led us to see that the divine in us is worthy indeed. You've touched so many with words of peace, you will probably never know how far you've reached. Now today, we follow the signs. We follow our hearts. We are grateful. We're so grateful.
I'm so grateful. God, I love you. Thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Love you, Beth. Love you so much. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. That's not enough, but I'm a little wordless right now. Thank you for making the time and indulging us as we just walk down memory lane and feel this love. I feel the love. Thank you so much. I actually want you to be involved in all that we continue to be, so I'm going to ask Kathy to come up and tell you how you can still be part of Unity and throughout the week.
Come on, y'all. I have to get up and talk after that? You guys know me. Wow. Okay, deep breath. That was unbelievable. And I was already choked up at the beginning of the service, sitting in the back, watching people just continue to walk in thinking, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I forgot the word went out. It's our anniversary, and everybody is here. It is unbelievable. So I'm Kathy. I'm here to read the announcements, but I'm just so overwhelmed. I think it's going to take me a minute to get to it. And I will say, I remember Gregory Middle School. I wasn't one of the first 6. There were at least 20 people there by the time I got there. The van had already been there. But I remember I got lost, and I got there late, and I walked in. I'm like, nah, I'm in the wrong place. I'm in a middle school cafeteria. And then I heard, singing or whatever. I thought, okay, yeah, this is a little weird. But turned out, it was amazing. And I sat in the back and I scurried off and I didn't talk to anybody. And, I kind of came and went over the years. But to be here today, just such an honor. And to have Kitty be honored. Speaking of, I know I'm not supposed to be doing this, but, Liz talking about Kitty following the signs. I remember the first time she told the story about all the signs. And the final sign was the car in front of her that had the license plate that said, "Go Kitty." Because she had just said, okay, God, just maybe one more sign and then I'll stop. And that's when she saw it. If I have told that story once, I've told it 100 times. I love that story. So thank you all so much for being here today. This is just amazing. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. What a great day to be here, whether you're here with us in the room or joining us online. This is who we are. This is our community. And if you're joining us online for the first time and you're local, whenever you can do it, come on down here on a Sunday, because as great as this message is coming through the ethers at you, it is nothing compared to the energy of being in this room with all of us. So thank you, everybody. Thank you. So will our Board of Trustees please stand? I want you all to, yes, let's give them a big hand. We have Melinda, Mary Beth, Steve, Susan way in the back, our trustee leader Carol, and our minister Kitty. They are here for you. They work so hard behind the scenes to keep our church moving forward. They want to talk to you. They want to answer your questions. They want to chat. They want you to know anything you want to know about Unity, beginning to end. So find them after the service, and they will be happy to talk to you. And thank you all so much for your work for Unity. So let's see what's going on here this week. And everything I'm about to tell you, you can find the details of on our website. That is unityinnaperville.org. You can also send an email to our trustee, Melody Moy. Thank you, Melody, working behind the scenes. Her email address is admin@unityinnaperville.org. So here we go. Okay, weekly Monday morning metaphysics book study group tomorrow morning, 10:30 to 12 on Zoom. I'm going to go fast because I spent so much time talking up here. The Grief Support Group meets online Monday, April 4th at 7 p.m. You don't have to be local. Newcomers are welcome. Out-of-towners are welcome. Drop in. You can come once. You don't have to come every week. But this group is here for you. If there's any kind of grief that you're experiencing, our group is here for you. So please join us. The Energy of Spirit meets online Tuesday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Crafters Circle meets Friday, 6:30 here in the room at Unity. Thank you, Crafters Circle. Courageous Writers meets Saturday on Zoom, 10 to 12. And you are invited to a soul collage workshop where you'll explore the power of release, the power of letting go. This online workshop is Saturday, April 23rd, 9:30 to 12:30, but registration closes on Sunday, April 17th. So you want to get on that, chop, chop. And love offering is $15 to $20. And as always, our prayer chaplains are available to pray with you after the service. If you have a need for private, confidential, affirmative prayer, you can meet our prayer chaplain in the meditation room right outside the sanctuary, or send an email to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, and be sure to put your name and your phone number, and a prayer chaplain will call you this afternoon by 1 p.m. And it's the first Sunday of the month, so you know what that means. Birthdays! Oh my gosh! Get out of here. That is adorable. Oh, stop it. And I have to give a shout out to my dad who's turning 89 this month. So happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, everybody here. Stand up if you're here. We want to celebrate you. Yes.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Franz. Happy birthday to you.
Congratulations. Happy birthday. That is all for me. I'm going to hand it back to Kitty for some very important news. Have a great week.
I forgot something. I'm so sorry. Okay, super quick. Totally forgot the gift that we got for you.
It comes in a cooler. Yeah.
Butter and chocolate. Peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh
Your
my
favorite.
gosh. And I haven't been able to find this since COVID. Oh my gosh, you guys. These people know me and love me. Yay. Thank you, honey. Wait, can I have that cooler?
Well, that'll cover tonight, but what about tomorrow?
Exactly. There's cake out front, so I just might share it with you if you're good. Yeah. Yes, so please don't run off. There is literal celebration happening out in the front room. We hope you'll stop by and pick up some fun anniversary cake. Hey, and birthday cake. Woo-hoo-hoo. Get some ice cream. And one other reminder is that our annual meeting is coming up. We can have even more fun than we had here today on April 24th, Sunday, April 24th. And it's a chance for your board to say lots of fun things about where we've been and where we're headed. We're also electing new board members. Please make the time for this. This is important. We only do it once a year, and you want to honor your board who has been working really hard through this COVID experience. So I hope you'll join us for that. After the service, you might be able to go grab some lunch and bring it back or bring it with you or whatever. Read your e-news. It's in there, okay? And do we have a song? We do. One last song? This wouldn't happen to be, oh yeah, first song we sang in 2007. Let's stand and sing it again.
So go forth this week. Allow your soul to flow. Let your joy rise. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the joy of the Lord rise among us. Let the praises that we sing rise among us. Let it rise. Let the light. Let the light of the Lord rise among us. Let the light of the Lord rise among us. Let it shine from within and rise among us. Let it rise. Oh, let it rise.
One last thank you to Halise Green, Reverend Halise Green, who was the minister at Oak Park for years and years and helped me settle in here, was kind enough to wish us a 15th anniversary with her beautiful bouquet. So thank you, Halise, for that. We've got a closing affirmation that we do every Sunday, different every week, to help us remember what we've talked about today. Let's say this together. My soul flows with new life, and I'm set free to be my truest self. Would you please join us out in the front room for some good cake and ice cream? For those of you online, love you so much. Thanks for spending this time with us. We're going to celebrate all month long in fun ways, so I hope to see you back next week. Love you guys.
Go ahead, Kevin. There you go. I am on a journey,
I am on a journey,
on a spiral path,
on the spiral path,
winding up, winding down,
winding up, winding down,
circling forward, never back.
circling forward, never back.
Oh, I am on a journey,
I am on a journey,
on a spiral path,
spiral path,
winding up, winding round,
winding round,
circling forward, never back. Oh, and round I go, deep into divine. On my spiral path, I create, and all I dream is mine. Yes, I am on a journey,
I am on a journey,
on a spiral path,
on a spiral path,
winding up, winding round,
winding up, winding round,
but staying right on track.
it's right on track.
Oh, and round I go, deep into divine. On my spiral path, I create, and all I dream is mine. Let's hear some Kevin here.
I need a booster. Oh well.
Do it again, Kevin. I like that. Yes, this is around I go, deep into divine. I create all I dream. There you go, man. Healing,
Healing,
learning,
learning,
leading,
leading,
serving.
serving,
I am healing,
healing,
learning,
learning,
leading.
leading.
That's right, it's serving.
Serving.
Oh, and round I go, deep into divine. On my spiral path, I create, all I dream is mine. Round and round, oh, and round I go, deep into divine. Okay. On my spiral path, I create.
mine. Here's the last one. Oh, and all I dream is mine.
Mr. Kevin Conley.